Hey, welcome to the Digital Remodeler Podcast. So glad you've joined us today. And with me is Erica Anenberg. She is with Girl Flip, and she's also here to introduce an incredible piece of technology that she's been working on. So, Erica, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So let's start with your background. You describe yourself as a serial entrepreneur. So tell us a little bit about your journey and how you ended up in the construction and remodeling industry.
I would say that I've been running my own businesses forever. I never really had a job. I think maybe like one day here, one day there. And I just realized that working for other people was just not my forte. I kind of like, as an entrepreneur, you don't really understand what it is, but just like a little piece of me died every time I was doing, wasn't creating my own business. And I didn't really understand what that drive was because it was very early on, like, I mean, 3 and 4 and just wheeling and dealing. And as I got older, I realized it's really just about creating something from nothing and then generating money from it. So that's like, I mean, I would just say it's just a really, it's like a high almost. And whatever business that I'm in, as long as I'm creating and generating, then it's successful and it's something I want to do. Um, Early on, I was in fashion and accessories. Right out the gate out of college. I was a glass designer. I made big, huge glass windows and installation. That was my first trade. And I just realized that I'd make a lot more money if I could sell a lot more items, even if it was lower volume, I mean, lower price points, but higher volume. And that's when I really got into like product development and selling, a lot of products. And throughout my career as a, designer and product developer, I think I've sold around 3 million products, up until I was finished, which was in about, around COVID time. And that's when,
Okay.
yeah, that's when I basically pivoted, all that business flatlined, all my orders went away. And I had a income property that I was about to change hands from the renter, and found out that they had a grow house there. And they completely destroyed it. There were like thousands of plants. It was like 99% humidity. The whole thing was just tanked. And I'd been building on my own, on my own projects with another builder. And I realized at that point that it was something that I wanted to do and I was very passionate about. And I got my license. And as an entrepreneur, when there's a hole in the market and you're passionate about something, it's just like, it's like fireworks, right? And I realized that there are not very many women in construction and not very many women general contractors, which for like Google ads, right? Or anything Google, like we didn't even have to do any ads at all. It was all completely organic. People were going and they were typing in sick of men in construction telling me what to do, basically, like that's what they would, every single person. And we were getting quite a few leads and they'd come in. Yeah, I'm just done. I'm tired of, these, men just not listening to me. Um,
Yeah,
and it was great for business for us.
sure.
um, but I don't know, that was kind of a I don't know if that segue like was really my background, but
No, that's an awesome segue because what that did is it allowed you to see things from a different perspective and identify some challenges and then really kind of approach your business from a unique angle. So let's kind of talk about that. So you come in, that's what people are finding you. They've got this pain point. So how did that form really your strategy for business and your philosophy of business and kind of talk us through that? Like how did you position yourself, based on those pain points, besides just being a woman who is a general contractor who's delivering, this service and doing it at a high level. What else did you bring into that positioning to really help you succeed?
I don't think it's something like that was thought through. I think it
Mhm.
just, and with any kind of beautiful way that a business is formed, it can be like super organic, just things come to you. And the name Girl Flip just came to me, the logo. I mean, I think I designed it myself within like 3 minutes. And then, went online and the website had girlflip.com. Someone had it and it was $700, and I basically just bought it thinking, okay, this is great. Like everything about this feels amazing because it just is who we are. It's like I'm a builder. I've been always a builder my entire life. I mean, I've been, like the one who'd pulled up carpets in my 20s and, just I would have a whatever and I'd redo the whole thing and I'd be sanding and I was like a little contractor then. I would go to Home Depot if I needed, any electrical done. I'd go and I'd sit in the electrical aisle, and I'd wait and I'd scope it out and I'd look for people that could help me. I did the same thing in every single aisle at Home Depot. And I was basically in a way, owner builder contracting out by having these subcontractors. And I wouldn't recommend doing it that way, but um in my 20s when I didn't know what I was doing, it's just resourceful. That's who I am. I'm very resourceful, and I'm also happen to be a woman, and
Mhm.
I'm married to another woman, and our
Mhm.
superintendent is a woman, and we just do things differently. Like we didn't plan on doing, like, we're going to be the doing everything different than men do it. We're not trying to, we just kind of are, like we have, my wife is she's head of sales, and she's just like, she has just this wonderful, beautiful energy about her. She's just compassionate and kind and loving. She's like an angel, like when I think of her, I'm like, she's like my what's it called, like your golden ticket, like your gold call for when anything happens to me. I'm always like, oh, bring in Beth, she'll fix everything, because she
Yeah.
just, people love her. And so she walks potential clients through this beautiful process. It's like a discovery and clarity call, and she talks to them and she asks them questions like, why do you want to remodel? Like what's the underneath reason? Like, oh, it's for your aging parents, and like getting really deep into like, what are the fears? What is the cost of not remodeling? And like it's like an hour-long process of asking these questions that people don't normally ask in construction. They're just like, I can build for you. It's very like robotic, and yes, you have relationships and you care about the people you're working with, but there's a missing component of the the underlying reasons of why you're remodeling and the attachment to what you're remodeling, that I think a lot of men are missing the mark when it
Mm, I,
comes to
I I
construction.
like where you're headed with that. I think that's one of the things we miss is people have an emotional connection to their projects and their homes and taking the time to tap into that. I think is part of the secret sauce that you uncovered. Maybe not intentionally, but you've tapped into that. And what a cool thing that is, and you're seeing that play out. So what other, as you kind of think through your learning curve and some of the challenges you faced along the way, what other things do you think have kind of influenced the way you do business?
Um, I mean, I think with construction, it's different than any other business I've had. I mean, it's by far the most multifaceted type of business, with more juggling, more moving parts than any business I've ever had. And what I found is that it is so collaborative. Like everything, it's so collaborative down to like, just your pre-construction meeting, your during construction, I mean, just every step of the way, everyone has input. And that way of doing business can be someone's biggest challenge, and it can be someone's biggest asset. Um, so being very collaborative and you know, using our strengths. Our superintendent Nancy is an incredible builder, and she's incredible with the guys, and she speaks Spanish, and she's on site, and they're working hand in hand together. I'm with business development and partnerships and big thinking and the business part, and my wife is, she's doing sales and she's working with the clients, and so it's a really strong trio
Hmm.
of collaboration, that I would say that if you're if you're thinking about getting construction, think about the team players that you're going to bring along for the ride.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having the right team. So let's kind of shift gears here. So something you and I talked about when we talked a few weeks ago was the challenges in the industry and the slow movement to embrace change, and that really the homeowner ends up suffering because the contractor just wants to kind of stay stuck in the way things have always been done, and kind of this old school mentality. So talk about some of those big challenges that you were observing, in the remodeling industry, and especially when it comes to communication and the project management. When we were talking, you were really describing some of the homeowner pain points that you just kept seeing that really were avoidable. And it was because people were just kind of stuck in their ways as far as doing business. If you can kind of speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think construction, when you think of construction, you kind of think of some like in an immovable object, right? Something that is just there forever. And it's true. It's this industry is not a very fluid, forward thinking industry. We're a bit behind. I mean, we're a lot behind in technology. We're also a bit behind in, you know, having an open mind and thinking about doing things differently. Because there's many ways to build the same exact thing. And people don't realize that. They think, oh, that's my way, I is the way to do it. And that kind of way of thinking is what I think that's where the shift is going to be. And that shift is going to happen with the homeowner, because the homeowner is going to be different. They're going to start being different. And then also the contractors are going to age out. The contractors that are in their 50s and 60s within the next 10 years are going to age out, and a new wave of contractors are going to come in. A new wave of homeowners are going to come in. And I mean, just in general, society as a whole, the younger generations coming into um, the decision making process, they think differently. They just do. They don't have the same mindset of black and white that maybe Generation X kind of had to think in that way. It's much more rainbow color, you could
Hmm.
say, I mean, literally, I mean, just 10, 15 years ago, being married to a woman was not okay. It was very challenging. And now people don't even, I mean, it's like no one's even blinking an eye. I mean, it's remarkable, actually.
Hmm.
Thank God that it's easier to be yourself these days, because it
Yeah.
was not easy in the 80s. Let me tell you, it was not easy. It was actually quite devastating and traumatic. And, a lot of people from my generation who came out during that time suffered. Um, so I'm excited for the new generations, right? And I'm excited for construction to start benefiting from the new mentality of, basically, it's just collaboration, really.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, because it's one of the things you and I discussed, a couple of weeks ago, was that these younger homeowners, this newer generation, we've got millennials and Gen Z coming up, that they really are demanding more collaboration, and they want more transparency, and that's really is a shift, that it's not good enough to inform people after the fact. They really want to be a part of this process. And so kind of speak into that, and then we'll kind of transition into the solution you've come up with, to be a part of, making that jump into this next generation.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is they just want to know what's going on, like, really. And in construction, because there's so many moving parts and there's so much going on, it's not that I don't think people don't want to let other people know what's going on. It's just they don't have the bandwidth to do everything they have to do, and, handhold their clients through the process. And that's why, we did develop BuilderBud. That's why we wanted a really easy, simple solution, that both the homeowner and the general contractor and anyone on the team could use and implement into their processes, like, within hours. Um,
Excellent.
yeah. And
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say it's important. It's like, it's important. It's here you have someone's biggest asset that they're, taking a huge gamble on. I mean, literally, it's like, uh, no, you don't, like, it's not the same process when you go to a doctor and you have a heart surgeon, like, you are literally doing something similar with your house. And you don't have, people are not taking the time to really understand the process, and who they're entrusting to do it. And the person entrusting to do it is not understanding the you know the the attachment that the client has with their home. Sort of like a therapist, right? Like, you're a therapist, and, like, you have a million clients and they all have so many issues, and you start to get really, like, you know you get like immune to it, right? So you're going through all these homes, and you're not acting like it's as if it was your own home. So it's
Mm.
it just is happening naturally. It just has to happen. After you're doing 100 homes, you're not going to ever really feel that way with the homeowner does. So that's why I wanted this tool that can be utilized easily, and that both the homeowner and the contractor and the contractor's team, has at their fingertips, basically.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, so that was one of the things you were sharing with me. You wanted to really create this transparent flow of information, between the contractor and the homeowner. And again, I love it that you brought out, there's this emotional connection between the homeowner and their home, and we forget sometimes that's sacred space. If we're not careful, we can really create you know, damage and baggage there if we're not careful in the way we handle that space and that communication. So let's talk about just kind of the process of development with BuilderBud. You partnered with a technical co-founder.
Mhm.
You're a dreamer, you're a serial entrepreneur. So let's talk about, that collaboration. What was that like? You've got this, you know, great idea. Now you've got to work with this, technical co-founder and put it all together. What was that collaboration process like?
It was magic. I mean, my CTO's name is Andy. He's in North Carolina. He's a homeowner himself. He's gone through the process. He understands it. He's an incredible developer. And we just really got along. We get along like incredibly. And I invested some money. I see a problem. I see a problem within our company. So GirlFlip has a problem and I'm solving it for GirlFlip. I hope I can solve it for everyone else. But when you have a vertical SaaS, you're really, honing in and making sure you're solving, a problem that you're seeing on a daily basis. And the biggest problem that we have is the communication component and the ease of use with the construction technology that we have right now. We do have a robust software system that is very expensive, that is amazing. I mean, these people are super smart, but it took me 6 months to learn. I still don't have a complete grasp on how to use it. My team kind of, everyone's kind of using it and it's very helpful, but it's expensive to be, kind of helpful. And it's, I mean, because it's very helpful because what was there before was terrible, which was what, nothing. Like, I mean, spreadsheets, and I mean, it was awful. I had QuickBooks and spreadsheets. And so at least it's helped organize us incredibly. Um, but the issue of it, the ease of use is lacking, I think, with construction tech right now. I think
Hmm.
there's a lot of numbers. The minute you look at their dashboard, anyone's dashboard, all the software I see, anyone's dashboard, there's just tons of numbers up, and like you want a homeowner to run the other way, and someone who doesn't have any kind of technical background, they're going to take one look at it and just be like, oh, that's too much information. So we wanted to just simplify it, make it something that was like, WhatsApp felt like, maybe Trello, a project management with a little bit of, construction tech software in there, because I need to have certain things in there, and invoicing. One of the features is my cost. Like, how much is it costing me and how much should I charge the client on just a very basic level? If I want my profit margin to, I want to double my money, I can put in 100% and it doubles it. If I want to put in 60%, and I can go backwards and I can see what kind of margin I'm making. It's really for, if you look at it, it's for a contractor who, or a homeowner who's doing, one job, a contractor who's doing a couple jobs. They're not, the $5-10 million contractor. It's maybe $1 million, 500,000 to 2 million. And I felt like it was being underserved, that area.
Hmm. Good. And so you really designed it for simplicity and ease of use, but really to bridge that communication gap. And I think that's one of the things that's great. Let's kind of talk, looking ahead. How do you see BuilderBud evolving? What's as you kind of look down the road, what are your long-term goals for the app, as far as functionality and the reach? What are some of the things you'd like to see happen there?
I mean, I want to when I think of BuilderBud, I think of, someone that is going to help me with the building process. We originally had it as, the tagline was, your construction bestie, which is like your best friend. You have your best friend, your BuilderBud here helping you with your remodel. And that's was the vision of it. How can I help someone who's going through this challenging experience? How can I just make it a little easier for them? And that's our tagline now, because no one understood, my construction bestie. So we changed it to construction made easy. And that's what we want to do, just a little bit easier, more organization. When you're on site and you want to find your plans, I want them to be able to do it within 30 seconds. I want them to be able, to pull up all their spec sheets and, to know what the tasks and the punchline items they have and their to-dos and where their chat messages were. Just have it something where, things are easier for them.
Excellent. And then, for anyone listening out there, how could they get their hands on BuilderBud? Is there a place they can go? What's the next step for them?
Yeah, so builderbud.com. You can go there and you sign up for the app, and it's Google Play and Apple, and you sign up, and we have a 1 month free right now. And they could go there and they can email me, and I'm available, and Andy's available to walk them through the process and how it works. And I'm hoping really that one day this is the software that like anyone can use and try out for 1 month and see how it works. They don't have to make any commitments, they don't have to pay any money. They could just see, hey, is this working for me? Is this making my life easier? And if not, then they shouldn't pay for it. I mean, some of these softwares are asking for 12 months up free. 12 months, $1,200 or whatever, $2,000 just to start, because they're so complicated that they have to have this team behind them onboarding. So I get it, but I didn't want to do that.
Good. And then, any final thoughts, advice that you have for any of the remodelers out there who are listening, just for growing or streamlining their business, just to make the journey a little bit easier?
Oh God. I mean, I think don't beat yourself up. Don't be so hard on yourself. Construction is really, really hard. And it's not for everyone, because it's not an easy business. It's a hard business, and there's a lot of moving parts to it, especially when you're doing multiple projects at one time. So just go easy on yourself, and hope to make light of it and have some fun. You could go to check out our Instagram at Girl Flip, and we have a lot of fun. We do some skits, and we try to have a good time. Because if you're not enjoying yourself, then what's the point?
That may be the best piece of advice out of this entire episode, if you're not having fun. So Erica, thanks for joining us today. And to those of you listening, thanks for tuning in. And we hope to have you on the next episode of the Digital Remodeler Podcast.
Thank you.